I watched her unbutton her blouse, slow, seductive, rehearsed. She was in his condo, not knowing I was across the street in my truck, watching through the window. My wife of 30 years. Vanessa. The woman I built a life with. The woman who told me last week she was burnt out from work and needed a weekend to clear her head. And now? She was standing in Derek's living room, pouring wine like it was a date. Laughing. Smiling. Slipping off her heels like she'd done this a dozen times. I couldn't look away. Rage had me nailed to the seat. My hands gripped the steering wheel so hard my knuckles turned white. This wasn't a misunderstanding. This wasn't just a hunch. This was full betrayal, live, unfiltered, and happening right in front of me. How did it come to this? Let me rewind, only a little. Just enough to show you how she played me like a damn idiot. Vanessa started acting different about 6 months ago. Gym every morning, new perfume, constantly on her phone. When I asked who she was texting, she'd snap, "It's work, Travis." You wouldn't get it. Work. Everything was work. Late meetings, overnight conferences, and these new, corporate mixers, she always came back from smelling like men's cologne and guilt. And then came Derek. Her new boss. Young, arrogant, the kind of guy who thought he could take whatever he wanted, including another man's wife. The first time I saw them together was at her company's annual barbecue. I caught him looking at her like she was dessert. She didn't pull away. Didn't act uncomfortable. No. She smiled. Tucked her hair behind her ear. Flirted back like I wasn't even there. I should have known then. Last Thursday, she told me she had another late meeting. But I'd had enough. I installed a GPS tracker in her car the week before, because if my gut was right, she wasn't going to any damn meeting. The tracker pinged an address on the other side of town. Not her office. Not a restaurant. A private condo complex. That's how I ended up across the street, parked in the dark, watching my wife undress for another man. At 7:43 p.m., she walked in. By 8:10, the curtains closed. But the damage was done. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I didn't punch the dashboard like some dramatic movie scene. I sat there, ice cold, staring at the glowing window, my mind already racing ahead. What was I going to do? March in and knock him out? Call her and ask why she destroyed our life for some corporate boy toy? No. I was going to think. Plan. Strike when they least expected it. Vanessa didn't know who I was anymore. She thought I'd sit at home like a sad, clueless husband while she played dress-up for her boss. But if she thought she could shatter 30 years of marriage and walk away clean, she had no idea what storm was coming. The next morning, Vanessa came home smelling like hotel soap and betrayal. She walked in like nothing happened, coat over her arm, hair slightly tousled, humming some pop tune like she'd just returned from brunch with the girls. I was already in the kitchen. Coffee brewing. Divorce papers printed and sitting neatly on the counter. She froze. Her eyes scanned the scene, me in my hoodie, calm as a monk, and a thick stack of legal betrayal waiting to drop the hammer. "Morning," I said, flat as a dead heartbeat. She smiled, but it was off. "Hey, babe. Sorry, I ended up crashing at Marie's. We had too many mojitos." Cut the crap, Vanessa. That smile vanished. She blinked once, twice. The lies were backing up behind her teeth, but she couldn't find one fast enough to save her. I slid the papers across the marble countertop. "I know." She stared. "Know what?" "That you weren't with Marie. That you didn't fall asleep on her couch. That you were with Derek. In his condo. Undressing for him while I sat in my truck watching the whole damn thing unfold like a twisted movie." She flinched. That was it, just a flicker in her eyes. The kind of look someone gives when they realize the mask slipped and they've been caught dead to rights. And then came the audacity. "Why were you spying on me?" "That's sick," Travis. That's what she said. Not, I'm sorry. Not, please let me explain. No. She tried to flip it. Turn me into the villain for catching her red-handed. I laughed, a cold, bitter bark of a laugh. You're cheating on me, and I'm the bad guy. She crossed her arms. Defensive. You've been distant. Cold. You don't touch me anymore. Because I was working double shifts to cover your spa weekends. Because I was home fixing pipes while you were busy pretending you were single again. Silence. She looked at the papers, then at me. You're serious. As a heart attack. She didn't cry. She didn't even argue. She just pulled out a chair and sat down like we were about to negotiate a business deal. You want to do this now? She asked. No. I wanted to do this the night you started sneaking around. But I was stupid. Loyal. Still believing you were the woman I married 30 years ago. She rolled her eyes. People change. Yeah. Some of us grow. You just got better at lying. She stood, and for a moment I thought she was going to say something real, apologize, beg, something. But no. Not Vanessa. Instead, she smirked. You really think you're the first guy whose wife got bored and upgraded? That's when I knew there was no saving this. No working it out. No therapy or second chances. This woman had burned the bridge, pissed on the ashes, and was already dancing on the other side. You upgraded to a man who wears designer jeans and chases married women, I said. Let's see how long that lasts. I grabbed my keys and headed to the door. Before I stepped out, I turned back. Oh, and Vanessa? Tell Derek I hope his condo insurance is up to date. What does that mean? I smiled, but there was no warmth left in it. You'll find out. Revenge isn't just about getting even. It's about taking back control. And I wasn't about to let Vanessa and Derek walk away thinking they'd won. I didn't go to work that day. I didn't answer texts. I sat in my truck outside Derek's condo building with a notebook, binoculars, and one very clear mission: learn everything I could about the man who thought he could dismantle my life. He left his place at 8:17 a.m. sharp. Button-down shirt, AirPods in, coffee in hand. I followed him, not too close. He drove a black Audi with vanity plates, WNR. Fitting. Arrogant as hell. He pulled into his corporate parking structure. Tall glass building, 8th floor. I parked 2 blocks down and waited. I wasn't rushing this. No, this had to be clean, calculated. I wasn't going to throw fists, I was going to dismantle them both piece by piece, methodically. Step 1, information. I started calling Vanessa's co-workers, people I remembered from Christmas parties, barbecues, birthdays. Just casual check-ins. Hey, haven't heard from you in a while. How's the office? I pretended to be clueless, just a supportive husband making the rounds. And the things I learned? Let's just say Vanessa and Derek weren't exactly subtle. They had been working late, together for months. Always disappearing during lunch breaks. Booking off-site meetings at boutique hotels. People noticed. People talked. They just didn't talk to me, until now. That night, I went home and started making copies. Emails. Call logs. Her calendar entries. Credit card statements showing dinners for 2. I even found a suspicious charge for a romantic couples spa package. Vanessa came home late again. She walked in like nothing had changed. I was in the living room, laptop open, with a USB drive in my hand. What's that? She asked. I stared her down. Insurance. She narrowed her eyes. What are you talking about now? Proof. Of everything. Of you and Derek. The meetings. The hotels. The whole sick fairy tale. She scoffed. You really think anyone's going to care? I leaned forward. Your company's HR department might. Especially when they find out you're sleeping with your direct supervisor. Now I had her attention. Her eyes twitched. Her lips parted. You wouldn't. I smiled, cold and steady. Try me. Vanessa wasn't scared. She was furious. And her first instinct? She laughed. God, you're pathetic. You're not going to do anything. You'll bluff, cry, mope, then sign the papers and vanish. No. I'm going to torch your little fantasy. Not with fire, but with facts. And just like that, I knew the next move. Step 2, exposure. I crafted an anonymous email, well-worded, professional, but laced with enough evidence to make HR panic. Screenshots. Dates. Names. All backed up. All real. And then I clicked send. To her boss's boss. To HR. To the ethics committee. To the regional director. Boom. I watched her face as she opened her phone 5 minutes later. Her expression dropped like a bomb hit it. Her fingers scrambled, typing, calling, reading. She looked at me with pure venom. What did you do? I told the truth. Something you're allergic to. She didn't speak. She just stormed into the bathroom and slammed the door. I heard her sobbing. Screaming. Maybe both. But I didn't care anymore. She destroyed our marriage. She humiliated me. Now it was her turn to feel what it was like to have the ground ripped from beneath her. And I wasn't done yet. 3 days after I exposed their affair to her company, the fallout had begun. Vanessa was suspended pending internal investigation. Derek? Radio silence. Not a single call. Not even a message asking if she was okay. Classy guy. But I wasn't done yet. If he thought I'd just embarrass her and let him walk away untouched, he had no idea who he was messing with. I drove downtown with a purpose, clean jeans, leather jacket, and a folder full of printed emails and time-stamped photos. I wasn't there to throw punches. I was there to kill reputations. Derek worked on the 8th floor of a flashy glass tower. I strolled into the lobby like I owned the building, walked straight to the receptionist, and dropped his name. Do you have an appointment? She asked. Tell him it's Travis, Vanessa's husband. He'll know. She froze for a moment. She did know. So did the 2 other receptionists pretending not to listen. She picked up the phone, whispered something, then nodded toward the elevator. Go on up. Conference room B. Perfect. The ride up was calm, silent. But the storm was already building behind my eyes. I could see it now, Derek's smug face, his fake apologies, maybe even some attempt to justify what he did. I was ready for all of it. I walked into the conference room and found him leaning against the table, trying to look confident. Armani suit. Rolex watch. All show. Travis, he said. Look, I didn't mean for this to happen. Stop. He shut up. I walked to the table, dropped the folder in front of him, and opened it. Emails. Calendar screenshots. Photos of Vanessa at his condo. Everything laid out like a prosecutor's opening statement. You really thought this would stay quiet? I said. He picked up one page, glanced at it, then dropped it. She told me your marriage was over. That you were just roommates. That's the story she tells every man between wine glasses and lingerie. He winced. Good. I don't care what she told you, I continued. What I care about is the fact you knew she was married and still played the hero in your own office soap opera. You're a manager, right? You know what this looks like? He did. His face said it all. HR violations. Workplace power abuse. The kind of scandal that ruins careers. I didn't plan this, he muttered. It just happened. Yeah, it just happened to include dozens of meetings, private getaways, and lies that tore apart a 30-year marriage. He had no answer for that. I leaned closer. You don't get to walk away clean. So here's what's going to happen. You're going to resign, today. Quietly. No noise. No attempt to smear me or play victim. Because if I so much as hear you breathe the wrong way about me or this situation, I'll forward the same folder to the press, your clients, and your damn board of directors. He blinked. He wanted to call my bluff, but he knew I wasn't bluffing. You do that, I added, and I'll make this look like an ethics nightmare. He didn't respond. Just nodded slowly, face pale. I turned to leave but stopped at the door. Oh, and Derek? What? She faked an orgasm every time. Then I walked out. In the elevator down, I finally smiled. Not because I won. No. Because I made him lose. Because when you tear someone's world apart, they need to know exactly what it feels like. Vanessa picked the wrong man to betray. And I was just getting warmed up. You'd think after blowing up her affair and dismantling her boss's career, Vanessa would have gotten the message. But no. 2 days later, she was back in our house, acting like she still owned the damn place. She walked into the kitchen wearing a silk robe like it was just another Tuesday. Where's the coffee? She asked, as if we were in some kind of sitcom where betrayal didn't exist. I didn't answer. I was already 2 steps ahead. That morning, I'd met with a divorce attorney. Not just any attorney, Frank Landry, one of those pit bull types who eats cheaters alive and pisses legal fire. I told him everything, 30 years of marriage, the affair, the job scandal, the documentation, all of it. You have a strong case, he said, flipping through the folder with a gleam in his eye. Let's go scorched earth. That's what I wanted. Not just a clean break. A message. Frank started digging immediately. And in less than 24 hours, he found something interesting. A second account. Tucked away under a maiden name variant Vanessa hadn't used in over 2 decades. Nearly $72,000 stashed away, transferred bit by bit over the last 2 years. Bonuses from work. Gifts from Derek. Little amounts shaved off grocery budgets, travel reimbursements, and joint savings withdrawals. When I confronted her, she didn't even deny it. You weren't paying attention, she said. I was just being smart. Smart? You stole from me. I planned for my future. Sorry if that makes me a BTCH in your eyes. It doesn't make you a BTCH. You've always been one. This just confirms it. She threw her mug at the sink. It shattered, coffee splattering across the cabinets. I gave you my life, Travis. No. You gave me lies. And spreadsheets. And loyalty as long as it was convenient. I walked out before she could throw anything else. Back at Frank's office, we filed an emergency injunction to freeze her secret account. The judge approved it same day. Vanessa was locked out, no more late-night Amazon binges or overpriced brunches with the girls who'd fake laugh through her pity party stories. But I wasn't just targeting her wallet. Frank also drafted a demand for temporary possession of the house. Given the affair, the deception, and the length of our marriage, the court gave me the edge. Vanessa? She had 72 hours to vacate. The night I told her, she screamed. Said I was ruining her life. That I was punishing her for finding happiness. You didn't find happiness, I told her, dead calm. You bought lust with stolen money and called it freedom. She stormed into the bedroom, slammed the door, and cried loud enough for the neighbors to hear. I didn't go after her. I went into the garage and cracked open a beer. She'd taken so much from me, time, trust, peace, but I was finally taking it all back, one piece at a time. 3 days later, I stood on the porch as she packed her last suitcase. Her eyes were bloodshot. Her hair was a mess. No more designer perfume, no more perfect nails. Just a woman who'd lost her game. Enjoy your empty house, she hissed. Oh, I will. Especially without the smell of betrayal in it. She didn't reply. She just drove off. And for the first time in months, maybe years, I stood in silence and actually felt peace. I had a house. I had a plan. And I had a hell of a lot more coming. I thought evicting Vanessa would be the final punch. I thought once she was out, she'd slither away and try to rebuild her mess of a life quietly. But I underestimated her. Vanessa wasn't just a cheater. She was a liar with a talent for victimhood. 2 days after she left, I started getting texts, mutual friends, co-workers, even her sister. "Why are you kicking her out? She told us you were controlling, even abusive. She says you cheated first, and this was her escape." My blood boiled. She was rewriting the script. Making herself the hero, me the monster. A walking PR disaster trying to save face. And for a moment, it worked. People we'd known for years started backing away from me like I was radioactive. That's when I realized, taking back my life wasn't enough. I had to destroy her version of the truth. So I gathered everything. Again. Screenshots. Voice memos. A spreadsheet of suspicious bank transactions. The letter from HR confirming Derek's resignation, due to ethical violations. Photos. Surveillance timestamps. Even her own texts begging him for another night at the loft. I turned it all into a single file. Then I emailed it anonymously, to everyone. Not just our circle. Everyone. The parent group she used to volunteer with. Her yoga club. Our joint friends. Her mother. Subject line: "The truth Vanessa doesn't want you to know." Within 30 minutes, my phone exploded. Some people were shocked. Others apologized. One guy from our church group sent me a message that simply read, "I had no idea. That woman is poison." But the best part? Vanessa called me at midnight. Screaming. "How dare you smear me like this? You already smeared yourself, Vanessa. I just gave people the Windex. You're obsessed. You're crazy. You're just trying to ruin my life." "No. I'm just telling the truth. You're the one who ruined things. I'm just making sure no one forgets that." She hung up. The next day, I received an email from Derek. Subject: "Please stop." He wrote a long, desperate message about how the rumors were killing his job prospects. How people were canceling contracts, how he couldn't even walk into his gym without whispers. He begged me to delete the file. I forwarded his message to his mother. And his ex-girlfriend, who happened to be someone Vanessa tried to get fired 2 years ago. Petty? Maybe. Satisfying? Absolutely. But Vanessa wasn't done either. She tried filing for alimony. She claimed emotional trauma and loss of lifestyle. She said she deserved compensation for career setbacks caused by my aggressive retaliation. She wanted $2,000 a month. Frank and I laughed so hard he spilled his coffee. We sent the court a 72-page rebuttal. Laced with facts. Verified with evidence. Highlighted with timestamps. The judge dismissed her request without hesitation. But just when I thought she couldn't sink lower, she tried to turn my daughter against me. Vanessa called her up, crying, saying I was ruining her and spreading lies because I couldn't handle being left. But my daughter? She's smart. She remembered the cold dinners. The fake smiles. The night she overheard Vanessa giggling on the phone with someone named D. She hung up on her mother. Then she came over. Brought takeout. Sat with me in the living room. And said, "You didn't deserve this, Dad." I almost lost it. Not from pain, but relief. I was winning. Not just in court. Not just socially. I was finally getting my life back. Some battles you fight with fire. Others you finish with silence. I had already burned her false narrative to the ground. I'd wrecked her reputation, frozen her assets, and turned her smug new boyfriend into a corporate pariah. She had no job, no house, no money, and very few friends left who hadn't seen through the act. But the final move? That was always going to be personal. Vanessa had one thing left. One last trophy she clung to with manicured claws, the lake house. It was a small but beautiful property about 2 hours from the city. We'd bought it together 20 years ago, during better times. Long weekends. Summer barbecues. Fire pits under the stars. It had been our escape from the world. Until I discovered she'd taken him there. Not once, 3 times. I found receipts in the glove box of her car. Gas station stops, grocery runs in a nearby town, a reservation under her maiden name. She used our private place to play pretend wife to another man. That was the last straw. She thought I didn't know it still legally belonged to me. The deed had never been updated when we refinanced years ago. Her name wasn't on it. Not anymore. So I drove up on a Friday, early morning. Quiet, calculated. I had a locksmith change every lock. The door, the shed, the garage, even the little boathouse. I replaced the Wi-Fi password. Turned off the utilities in her name. Made sure every detail screamed one message. This is not yours anymore. Then I did one more thing. I called a real estate agent and listed the lake house for sale. When Vanessa found out, she showed up at my house, pounding on the front door like a lunatic. Hair messy, no makeup, in a panic. You can't do this. That house is ours. We built memories there. You built betrayal there. That place means something to me. It used to mean something to us. Now it's a crime scene I'm finally cleaning. She cried. Not the soft, manipulative kind, real, ugly crying. But I didn't flinch. You used it to cheat, Vanessa. You gave it to him. You turned it into a motel for liars. She didn't respond. She just sat down on the steps, head in her hands, mumbling to herself. I waited. Let her stay there for 10 minutes, maybe 12. Then I walked outside, handed her a manila envelope. Inside, a single, final letter from my lawyer. No alimony. No settlement. Just one offer: sign here, walk away, and I'll drop the defamation countersuit I'd prepared for the lies she tried to spread. She looked at it. Then at me. You'd really sue me? I should. But I'd rather never see your name in my inbox again. She signed. And just like that, after 30 years, a wedding, a daughter, a mortgage, and a decade of silent resentment, it was done. Vanessa was no longer my wife. She walked away without a word. No dramatic goodbye. No teary apology. Just quiet defeat, her heels clicking on the pavement like the ticking of a clock that had finally run out of time. I didn't watch her go. I walked back inside, cracked a cold beer, and turned on the game. That lake house sold within a week. I donated part of the money to a battered spouse's legal fund. I figured someone ought to get something good out of all this. But me? I got my peace. I got my name back. I got my life. You don't realize how heavy something is until you finally drop it. For 30 years, I thought I was carrying a marriage. Turns out, I was just dragging dead weight wrapped in perfume and lies. It's been 6 months since Vanessa signed the papers and walked out of my life for good. The silence in the house used to feel brutal, like an echo chamber of broken memories. But now? It's peaceful. No tension. No fake smiles. No waiting for another excuse or another night out with the girls. Just me. And that's enough. I learned a lot in those 30 years. But I learned even more in the 6 months after they ended. Lesson 1: Loyalty doesn't mean being blind. I stayed because I believed in vows, in effort, in working through the rough patches. But loyalty without awareness? That's not love. That's self-sabotage. The signs were there: Vanessa's constant distance, her need for attention outside our marriage, the gaslighting when I questioned anything. I ignored them. I made excuses. And I paid for it. Never again. Lesson 2, if they lie once, they'll lie again. Vanessa didn't just lie about Derek. She lied about everything. About money. About where she was. About who she was texting at midnight. Lies are like cracks in a windshield, you can ignore them, but eventually they'll shatter the whole damn thing. If someone shows you they're capable of betrayal, believe them the first time. Lesson 3, revenge can be justice, but only if you stay smart. I didn't punch Derek. I didn't scream at Vanessa. I gathered facts, used the system, and let truth be the wrecking ball. A lot of people told me I should have burned their world down with fists and fury. But the truth? Winning in silence, with facts, with dignity, that cuts deeper than any punch ever could. Lesson 4, know your worth. For years, I thought maybe I wasn't enough. Maybe I worked too much. Maybe I lost the spark. Maybe I was the reason she strayed. That's what manipulators want you to think. But now I know, my worth wasn't the problem. Her emptiness was. Her need to fill it with flattery and secrecy. That wasn't a reflection of me. It was a reflection of her own rotting mirror. And finally, closure doesn't come from them. It comes from you. I waited too long for an apology. For guilt. For her to say she regretted it. It never came. And even if it had, it wouldn't have fixed a damn thing. Closure isn't a sentence. It's a choice. You choose when to stop bleeding. You choose when to start healing. You choose when to stop giving energy to someone who fed off your pain. These days, I'm rebuilding. The house looks different now. New furniture. New art. No more pictures of anniversaries or vacations that now feel like lies. I've picked up new hobbies, started hiking again, cooking more, even joined a local group of divorced dads who meet up every other Saturday. We talk, we joke, we drink beer. No drama. No fake people. Just real men putting their lives back together. And if you're watching this because you're in the thick of it, because your partner just dropped a bomb on your world, here's my advice. Don't beg. Don't chase. Don't sink. Stand up. Look in the mirror. Remind yourself who you are. Then build the exit plan, quiet, precise, powerful. Because the best revenge isn't proving you're still wanted. It's proving you're no longer available.